Hey everybody, I'm Tommy Scoville, and this is the Tommy Scoville Show. Folks, the smoke in Reno has gotten to the point where I'm not leaving the building. Sunday is the day that I go to church. I am not going to be doing that. I cannot leave the house. Truthfully, it's that smoky outside. I'm going to be catching church online because it is just absolutely awful out there. You cannot imagine. You can't even see the mountains. It's terrifying. So, boy, the people of California right now could really use your prayers. It's bad right now. So your thoughts and prayers for the people of California. That would make me happy. I'm sorry it took me a while to get back to everyone last night. I don't know if it's something I ate or what it was, but I had a horrendous time last night. My stomach was just really, really messed up. But I'm back and I'm feeling good. And today, people, I want to talk to you this morning about reprogramming the mind. Before I do, tonight I will be going over the steps for the method that I recommend. You don't have to take it, but it's the method that I recommend for working a program of sobriety. It is different than the 12-step programs. There are not 12 of them, so that would be one of the first things that will jump out at you, but that will be on this evening. So today I want to talk about reprogramming the mind. We talked about relapse, and as relapse is a process, right? You start by, it's not, okay, here I go, I think I'm going to go use. It's a process of sliding and backsliding. And that process is usually kicked off by triggers, right? We went over that. And we went over, to some extent, why triggers do the things that they do. And it's because, the memory in the brain, be it olfactory, be it auditory, whatever the case may be, you hear something, you see something, you smell something, and it immediately takes you back to a time in your life where this starts that downward slide. And obviously we need to get good at recognizing when the triggers start so that we can stop the slide before you get to the bottom of it. And the bottom of it obviously is going back to your drug of choice. However, people, as we talked about triggers, one of the ones that almost everybody who decided to mail me some of their triggers, and I appreciate those that did, I think writing stuff down is great. Music was on everybody's list. And many of you listed albums. Some of you, went and just listed songs. And for one gentleman in particular, and I'm not going to pick on him by name, there must have been 200 songs for this person that was a trigger. Doesn't mean you're never going to be able to enjoy that music again. It means that while you are in the process of really getting the foundation of your sobriety, while you're building the basic building blocks that are going to be the rock of your sobriety, then you probably want to avoid those songs because they can start the process. That being said, the power of music, the power of smells, the power of all of these things, we can use those to our advantage, right? As we're reprogramming the mind, and as you're starting to feel, there's a honeymoon period in drugs. We've talked about it a bunch. It's when you don't realize yet that this is really doing huge damage, and you don't feel the guilt yet, and you don't feel the need to quit. During that period of time when you're just happy being a user, that's really when you sort of ingrain a lot of these songs. We don't think of songs that, that were being played a lot while we were in the process of struggling through our drug addiction. We think about the times when we were in our, the halcyon period of your drug use. So imagine right now, for those of you who are in the honeymoon phase of your sobriety, because the same thing happens. All of a sudden, you're getting up in the morning and your first thought isn't drugs. And for someone like me, who spent so much of their life with the first thought in the morning drugs and the last thought at the end of the day drugs, the first couple of times you get up and that's not the first thing you think about. So, the overwhelming feeling of joy and happiness. It's the same kind of thing. There's that honeymoon period. People, I have an anthem. In fact, I have several. I have songs that if I'm really starting to feel like I'm slipping, and I don't mean I'm getting ready to go use. I mean, I'm not where I want to be in terms of where my brain is. I'm starting to go in the wrong direction, right? I'm starting to go toward, the thought processes that didn't work well for me. I can put on one of these anthems, and the same thing that happens. It's a trigger in the right direction, right? It really is. It's a trigger that helps refocus you, as opposed to starting the relapse process. It reminds you of why you're fighting, or it reminds you of how you're fighting. My brother, obviously, huge heavy metal guy. Everybody who follows him on Chase the Heat knows, you'll see him in shirts from Slipknot to Tool or whatever the case may be. And that's really not, I like all music, I really do. But I tend to go more to the soft side, believe it or not. I'm a huge fan of music that's a little less driving. And I'm very much into lyrics more than I'm into the music. Whereas Johnny would probably be just as content if no one was singing. He's super into the guitar and all that. The reason that I bring this up is the song I'm Still Standing by Elton John. Go ahead, get your Elton John laughs out. Love Elton John. Sir Elton John's amazing. And Bernie Taupin, the guy that wrote with him, his partner, they've just made beautiful, beautiful stuff. But the song I'm Still Standing, with the beat and the lyrics, for me, it's an anthem, right? I hear that song, and no matter where I'm at in the day, no matter what's going on in my brain, I get that, that feeling of, I'm fighting the good fight. I have a friend who we quit around the same time. He's got a little bit more sobriety time than I do, but we quit right around the same time, and he would put on that song, I get knocked down, but I get up again, and he would crank that, and it programs the brain. It's neuro-linguistic behavioral training. It's the same thing that happens with triggers, can happen in the other direction. It can give you that pump to get you going to fight the good fight. So, I always say I'm not a college professor. I'm not a guru. I don't even really necessarily consider myself a teacher. What I am is a curator. I bring together a bunch of people and a bunch of thoughts and a bunch of things that get us all focused in the right direction. So as curator and as captain of this boat, I do try to bring things that I think are going to help people, but I don't do assignments, and I don't tell you absolutely have to do something. That being said, you absolutely have to do this. You have to pick out some tunes that for you are symbolic of the fight. There's something that when you hear that song, it's going to remind you of why you're quitting. It's going to remind you of what your why is. It's going to be the reasons, right, that we need in order to get the results. An anthem is awesome. It really, really is awesome. So get one. Get one. I know that some of the times I say things like this and you think, well, I like the message. I don't know that I'm going to go do this. People, when I wanted sobriety and I really got to the point where this was it, I'm not going back. This is going to be my life. The gentleman I was working with, if he had said, okay, what you really need to do is, I want you to cut this off right here, right? And then you're going to mail this to an address in Philadelphia. I probably would have done it. So obviously, hyperbole, right? This is an example, over the top for the purpose of illustration. But there wasn't much this guy was going to say that I wasn't going to follow because he had what I wanted. Not jealousy, none of that green with envy kind of stuff. It was just, this is a person that I wanted to emulate. I wanted what this person had, which was peace, right? If your journey to recovery means that you're miserable not using your drugs, that's awful. It's not what I'm wanting for anybody. It's certainly not what I want for myself. I want to be the happiest sober guy you've ever met. I want to be happier in sobriety than I was in the best days of my drug use. And I'm doing that. I'm putting together a life where I'm loving it. I'm loving every aspect of it. And this, right? I don't mean the office. I mean the boat. This boat, my shipmates, all of the people that are here day in and day out fighting the good fight. Can't choose your family? Of course you can. Of course you can. And we're doing that, right? We're building our best life. In the process of doing that, people, there are times you're going to need to pay attention and you're going to need to do the assignments. If they make you feel silly, I don't care. I really don't. Because there are times where the things that you do in order to get sober might seem silly. And I've heard people go, man, it's just, that seems stupid. This coming from the same guy who once drew water out of a puddle because where we were, he couldn't find stuff to cook his dope with. You want to talk to me about silly? Think of the things that you did as an addict and how ridiculous they were. Now, when I ask you to do something like pick you an anthem, or I ask you to look in the mirror and say, I forgive you for the things that you've done. We're moving on, you and me, right? Man in the mirror. We're moving on from the life that we had, and I forgive you. I forgive you. It may seem silly when you do it. I still do it. I still do it. I don't do it every day, but when I feel like I'm beating myself up for the things that I've done in the past, then I look in that mirror and I forgive myself. I tell myself that you're forgiven. Not a religious channel, but you know my beliefs. So in my particular beliefs, I'm forgiven by my higher power, completely 100% forgiven. Now I got to forgive myself. And there are times where you think, boy, the things that I've done, it's so hard to forgive yourself for. Well, if you're not going to try, well, then it's really going to be hard. And how do you try? You try by things like looking in the mirror, right? And going through these steps that at times seem silly. And I bring that up because I'm telling you right now, people, you need an anthem. You might need more than one. The song Life's Been Good to Me So Far, right? Joe Walsh singing an Eagles song. And when I bring this up, I had another guy say to me, that one of the lyrics in there, man, don't talk to me about the lyrics, right? He parties until it's 4 and it's hard to leave when he can't find the door. Don't judge someone else's song. In fact, just don't judge is a good idea. But I don't care what the lyrics are. I really don't, because they don't have to be my lyrics. They got to be your lyrics. And whatever it is, if it's sugar, right? It's probably not the deepest of song lyrics, but if there's something in that triggers something for you and makes you feel good, makes you feel like you want to fight, well, then make that your anthem, right? No one has the right to judge. All that this has got to do, it doesn't have to be polished or beautiful for people. It needs to cause that thing in your brain to say, we're happy. I'll release a little of that chemical, right? I'm going to release a little more of that chemical. The time has come to take action if you want to stay sober. Sobriety is not passive. It's not in any way, shape, or form. And it's not something that just comes to you. It's something that you fight for. And the crazy thing is, it doesn't cost anything, right? It's free. You just have to work for it. And it's one of the only things that, like if I were to do it as a riddle, you would say, what is free to get, but more valuable than platinum? And the only way to really hold on to it is to give it away, right? Well, that would be sobriety. I'm here, and I'm trying to give it away to everybody who will listen to me. Please, you're taking the time to come here. You're taking the time to listen. Do the things that I recommend. If I really say, I'm not ordering you to do this, however, I'm ordering you to do this, take the time to do it. And I promise you, it's one more brick, right, in that wall of sobriety that builds a foundation so that when the wind blows, and people, it's going to blow. It's going to blow for me. It's going to blow for you. Everybody is going to have that day where it's just difficult to get through the day. And especially if you've spent the majority of your life getting through that day and getting through those days by just getting high, then you need a whole new toolbox in order to make this work. I'm doing what I can, people, to tell you how I built my toolbox. And I suggest that you do the same. There are going to be plenty of times where I say, this is how I did it. You don't need to do this. I promise you, you need a song, right? You have so many of them that are triggers. Get one that goes in the opposite direction. Take the time to think about it today. And it doesn't, for some, it's going to be a very cerebral thing. For some, it's not. For some, it's going to be you hear it and go, every time I hear that song, I want to fight, right? Eye of the Tiger. That song comes on, I want to do push-ups. Doesn't, for whatever reason, associate in my mind with sobriety, but I want to drop down and just start doing push-ups, right? I want to start shadow boxing and throwing punches in the air. That song makes something happen in the brain. So today, take the time to work on it. You don't have to tell me what the song is. If you want to pop in the comment section and tell people what yours is, you can do that. I told you my two. The two that always can pull me out of anything. Life's Been Good to Me So Far by the Eagles, and I'm Still Standing by Elton John are those are my anthems. And there are more every day, but those are my go-to, right? If I'm feeling it, I'll put one of them on and I'll just hit it to where it goes off again and again and again on repeat until I'm starting to feel better. People, believe it or not, the other day I did this. I'm not doing it now, but I did this, and then a little thing popped up, right? Even Elwood commented on it, and you know he likes to pick on me. So I might be learning. I don't know. It seems kind of scary, but I might be learning. And on those notes, right here, if you click this, you're going to be part of this. You're going to become a member of the crew, right? You're going to be a crewmate on this boat. Over here are more videos. I suggest that you watch all of them. Please tell people about the show. It's helping the boat grow. I am Tommy Scoville. I will be back tonight with my steps. God bless. We'll see you guys this evening.